Hello, everybody. My name is Merp. I am your play-by-play caster for the Rose Esports Cup. Today, we are going to be looking at the match of, Waffle House versus Hakuna Shimada, and I'm joined by the color caster, Jeff.
Yes, sir. It's good to be here. I'm excited to watch this match. Something about Plat games holds a special place in my heart because this is where I started as a coach. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of fun, interesting stuff these players pull out today in these games.
Being a coach probably has its advantages when color casting, huh?
Yeah, it definitely helps to have an idea of what's being run and how the different composition synergies work. But today, I think that we'll be seeing some definitely very unique stuff because there's one of two ways this can go here, Merp. Either these teams are going to watch the Overwatch League matches, they're going to go, okay, hey, that looks really good. Let's try and replicate that. And then we'll get to see them give it their all to really improve and do their best strat. Or they're going to come out of here hungry for the win. They're going to put people in their comfort picks. They're going to make some wacky hero decisions, and we're going to see some really unique and fun compositions coming out. So it's all up to the teams and coaches and whatever they've prepared for this competitive match here today, and I'm definitely interested to see what that holds in store for us.
Speaking of being hungry for the wins, Waffle House and Hakuna Shimada are both 0-2. So they're looking for those wins. You know, we're kind of at the halfway point of the regular season with playoffs coming up in a couple of weeks. So these guys, they're really looking for these wins. And if any of them are going to turn it around, now would be the time.
Well, actually, Merp, Waffle House Gaming have
my
taken
bad.
a W. So they are near the bottom of the table, but not at the bottom of the table. However, when we look at this, both of the opponents that these guys played against, very, very strong. However, Waffle House managing to take at least one victory off of those opponents means that we might be able to call them favorites here going into this one.
Yeah, that's my bad. I misread the numbers. That's on me. But yeah, you're probably right. Which means that Hakuna Shimada, they're really hungry. They are starved and deprived, and they're going probably to come in here thrashing and ready to throw down. So yeah, I'm looking forward to things. We have Fusion in the lineup, which is pretty cool. He tore it up last week. I mean, the man was insane, but he wasn't really being countered by the Boise Paladins. So we'll see if Hakuna Shimada gives that a whirl and see what they do with the information they may have gathered from last week.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up, the information that these players are able to get because there's a unique opportunity to actually scout the other players and the other team compositions that like to be run with the streaming setup that we have here at the Rose Esports Cup. It's really nice for the viewers to be able to get in, but it's also really nice for the teams to be able to just find that critical information and maybe come up with a specially prepared strat that allows them to really take an edge over their opponents.
Absolutely. I can't wait for it because, well, as we've said about 5 times now, these guys are here for it, and they're here to win. So let's see how each one of these guys do. We're gonna be we're gonna start on, what appears to be Lijiang Tower, but I don't know if that's correct. Okay, we are starting on Lijiang. Okay.
Yeah, one of my favorite maps in the entire in the entirety of Overwatch. In fact, it might even be my favorite map because when you look at Lijiang, you see that King of the Hill. It's such an even, fair matchup where both teams roll out in that symmetrical map type. And then there's a lot of variety you can find on Lijiang. You can run Reinhardt comps, you can run dive comps with the Winston. You can see a lot of different hero picks come out here. And then some of my favorite heroes, which are Reinhardt and Zarya, will likely be played here on several of the maps. So definitely an exciting starting map for us.
And yeah, certainly an exciting series. Like I said, I'm ready to see what Fusion does on the side of Waffle House Gaming. Particularly, I'm also interested to see if Hakuna Shimada can kind of catch up to his tricks, because last week it seemed to be that Fusion was just kind of flanking behind the enemy and getting several triple kills just all over the place. So let's see how that goes. Fusion coming out on the Pharah, actually, whenever the doors open up. I don't know if that's going to stick on the way all the way through here. We've still got about 15 seconds before the match starts, so good change.
Yeah, Waffle House committing to sort of this hybrid composition. You know, they've got the Reinhardt and Zari that I mentioned, but they're going to be running the pocket pick of the pharmacy. So this is where I talked about having some of those specialists on your team, the comfort picks, but Hakuna Shimada rolling out with a really well-balanced composition. So we'll see if they're able to take advantage of that synergy as we move to this first fight.
And it doesn't seem like there were any character switches, so we've got that weird hybrid that Waffle House Gaming is running, and tons of damage on Hakuna Shimada's side. Let's see if they can take advantage of that fight. It's coming out here. Both Daria bubbles coming down, I believe. There's a charge. No picks quite yet. Huge nades coming out from the side of Waffle House Gaming. Fusion managed to find both Cooper and Leafy. That's going to be a wash, but as I say that, two-ton stalk, it's a two-man fire strike, and Lanakai just manages to clean it up on the Zarya. That is a one fight for Hakuna Shimada.
Yeah, they committed to that frontline pressure really well with the Reaper and the Junkrat, making sure their tanks would have an advantage. And while it looked shaky in the beginning, it paid off in the long run, getting them 2 kills and then the rest of the team fight. Team's posturing back in. Junkrat tire coming out on the side of Hakuna Shimada. Gets nothing for its trouble, but does use some cooldowns on the side of Waffle House Gaming.
That tire came in quick, and what a quick build-up. It seems that Waffle House Gaming is pushing up slowly but surely. Get a lot of pressure though from those Junkrat mines, nades. Fusion up in the air, sends a barrage, fine stretch, and pillows. And it looks like Waffle House is able to sweep it up with those 2 losses on the side of Hakuna Shimada.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can get Lanakai out with the charge, but it doesn't appear to happen. Daddy Longleg finishing him off with a flashbang of all things. And Leafy caught by him as well on the back end. So it's going to be a regroup from Hakuna Shimada, making sure to do that in the safety of spawn. Fusion here looking to charge up another barrage, whereas the rest of his team rich with ultimates. Merp, rich with ultimates. See if they can hold this next fight with some of their powerful combos.
Absolutely. We've got 4 on the side for both teams actually, so it's pretty even. But Fusion managed to find pillows once again. That far really making a big damper on the Junkrat, and it just seems like Waffle House Gaming is kind of holding the gates here, and Shimada is not quite able to break through.
Yeah, Fusion's actually forcing Cooper from the Reaper onto the McCree. I'm not sure it's the right call, but it's definitely a very flexible one. So we're going to see if Cooper manages to even get in here to deal with Fusion, however, as this choke point with all of the spam damage just so difficult to move through. Good regroup from Hakuna Shimada. They go in with all their abilities and healing. They go for the flashbang shatter play. Doesn't work out.
Surge is countered by the sound barrier though, coming out from the side of Leafy. Barrage once again comes out from Fusion, finds 2, but it might be too late as Hakuna Shimada finds 4, and that should be the closing out of this team fight, unless Waffle House Gaming can pull it back. I don't think they will be able to though, considering the only thing that was left was their supports.
Yeah, they managed to close that one out in spite of some attempted heroics from Fusion, but I think it's because, you know, Hakuna Shimada goes in there, they use the rolls first, they assert themselves in the game, and make some space that they need to. But now they've got Junkrat Tire, they've got Graviton, it's a good combo, but there are 4 ults on the side of Waffle House Gaming as they posture on at this point, popping one early.
Alright, it seems like the fight's coming in here. Gravitational Surge comes out from the side of Lankai. Junkrat Reptire manages to find 2 from the side of Pillows, but it just looks like the DPS from Waffle House Gaming are just having a field day, taking care of the backline, and Fusion just managing to clean things up along with Daddy Longleg.
Yeah, you see Daddy Longleg take an aggressive angle on the side there, finds the Ana, and once you lose all that healing, unless you get the big kills right away, you're probably not going to win the rest of the team fight. Lanakai now moving over to the D.Va to help deal with this range damage pressure, and maybe even just to touch the point here as this last fight closes in on us.
And Waffle House coming in at over 90%. Shimada needs to make a move now. They managed to find Storm Gig, but too much damage coming in from the side of Waffle House Gaming, and no one's able to break through.
Yeah, Leafy doesn't rotate in time to get at the point, and that's going to be the first round taken in favor of Waffle House Esports. So, what we saw there, one team sticking to some comfort picks, sticking to a high skill hero matchup, and the other team struggling to adapt. It appears that they hadn't done their homework, as we talked about. This could come to haunt them as we move forward in this map.
Well, I mean, maybe they didn't do their homework, but what I'm seeing is insanely fast ult build. We saw after the very first fight in that map, Junkrat Tire was already ready for the side of Hakuna Shimada, but I think Fusion had 5 barrages? 4 or 5? Somewhere along those lines?
A large number to be sure, but we're going to see the Sim strat coming out from Hakuna Shimada. The Sim very late on the side of Waffle House, and their tanks missing out on it, which is going to get Carmelata killed right away by the Reinhardt, just pinning through, and then killing 2 people with a fire strike. But once again,
Absolutely.
in the fight.
Absolutely, that charged Symmetra not being too kind to the squishy support of Waffle House Gaming. Once again, Hakuna Shimada is going to take the point first, but will they be able to hold it?
Yeah, that is the question. The setup here is good. As long as the healing comes out well, then the Pharah shouldn't get too much done. However, without a Moira, it's going to be hard for them to hold up against this raw damage input. And 2-ton Assault pinning into Narnia means that the Reinhardt is just going to be free in his team.
Yeah, speaking of free, Fusion, nothing's coming out to stop Fusion as Fusion gets 4. Stormgig steals the 5k from Fusion. I can't believe it. They need to do something here. Hakuna Shimada, if it isn't clear enough, needs to focus Fusion.
Yeah, well, they definitely missed an opportunity there. They didn't have the protection, and Fusion just moved in with the damage boost and started tapping people down. It could be an issue of just making sure they've got the right peel, which they make the swap to D.Va to try and get that done. They
Teleporter coming in. Teleporter coming in over to the point, like you mentioned. Fusion's gonna come in here late, but Stormgig managed to find pillows, and the barrage coming in a little late. Might have been a bit of a waste because the fight was already won, and I don't know.
It's bed there with that barrage over the top. Rockets in the back line plus a fire strike through the shield, manages to find a kill, and the damage output is just so strong.
Is there
from the side of Waffle House?
I'm actually surprised just how much damage. Speaking of damage, T Leafy gets killed in the regroup of his team after the fight, where you wouldn't really normally expect there to be a pick.
Yeah, and from the Ana of all things, that just shows that everybody is contributing to this damage output, with the possible exception of Omni on the Mercy.
I mean, I would be down to see some Battle Mercy. Once again, going to the teleport onto the point. Earthshatter comes out, manages to find 4 of freaking Hakuna Shimada, but Hakuna Shimada just cannot catch a break. Getting absolutely crushed by the DPS of Waffle House Gaming. Fusion only found 2 that time, but the turrets from Daddy Longleg just weren't cutting anyone's slack.
Yeah, and they commit just a couple of ultimates to gain the immediate advantage there. Now it's last fight territory. Hakuna Shimada not even had a chance to use their ultimate's going to throw Shatter into his shield. They find the Symmetra pick off. They make it back to
Gravitational
on the outside.
Gravitational Surge comes in. Also with the nano boost on the Zarya. Fight, another teleport.
Point flip comes
Hakuna
in.
Shimada managed to capture the point.
But now he's
not quite able to find anything thanks to the wall, but now that it's down, it's his time to shine. Bomb comes out from the side of Lankai, managed to find Stormgig, but it's just trades here, and I don't think they're favorable as Barrage comes out, keeping that Ryan at bay, and 2-ton just gets annihilated immediately. Leafy was there to stall out, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. As the teleporter comes in, though, managed to land 2, but instantly deleted by those turrets.
Yeah, at this point, they're just feeding all charge for style points on the side of Hakuna Shimada if they even manage to get back in touch again, which it doesn't look like they will. And that'll be the second round for Waffle House.
Wow, that was crazy. The damage output coming in from the side of Waffle House is absolutely insane. No surprise there that Fusion managed to get play of the game.
And without the Moira in rotation to be able to just absorb that kind of trash damage as it comes in, or use her ult to kind of zone out the Pharah Mercy combo, it's going to be very hard for Hakuna Shimada to stabilize against this constant Pharah Mercy play. Stretch putting out good healing numbers, getting the team into the fight, but as the fight continued, the finishing power of the Pharah, his lack of self-peel just became really evident. When you don't have that fade, something that can get on top of you and, well, two-tap you is really kind of scary.
Yeah, it just seems like an unstoppable powerhouse coming out from the side of Waffle House Gaming. Is there anything you think that Hakuna Shimada could do to turn this around?
Well, it seems like they put a lot of work into some really nice set plays, and the compositions that they've rolled out with show a lot of thought and synergy. They're the kind of compositions that I would expect to see in really high-level games. The difference is that the mechanics may not be quite up to par with those compositions. So if they can come up with something that has that good synergy and really, really, really focuses the ground war, then they could pull out the traditional style strategy of, instead of dealing with the Pharah threat, just overrunning the tanks on the ground before they get a chance to react. And then, you know what, maybe you trade out some players, maybe you lose a little bit of your backline, but at least you manage to kill all of the people that are actually going to contest point. And then whoever's left can deal with the Pharah, preferably with some kind of a health advantage. But we'll see what they choose to do, how they choose to adapt to this obvious comfort pick of Waffle House as they move into the map choice of Hanamura.
Absolutely, and maybe we will see something like that. Not quite worrying about fusions, but I don't know, man. If fusions continues to play around like this and absolutely dominate Hakuna, it could spell very bad news.
Yeah, I mean, there are some times you hear that story of a DPS just popping off and carrying team fights. Carpe comes to mind whenever that kind of play is mentioned for me. But here in these games, we've got Fusion, who is going to do his best to write his own story, and that story is going to include a victory for Waffle House if he has any say in it. However, comps being teased right now, it looks like we'll actually be seeing a pharmacy from Pillows 2 and T Leafy on the side of Hakuna Shimada, and Fusion going to move over to the Reaper.
Interesting. You would have thought he would have stayed on it considering how well it's working, but I guess not. As both teams come out here, 2-ton assaults planning to get a bunch of alt charge. Fire Strike doesn't find anything as they go around the back alley.
Looks like a sim TP strat onto point, and this could work really well for them as Hakuna Shimada isn't in position. The boot comes in to delay it, but they don't break the teleporter, and now the attacking team has positioning on the point with lots of heroes removed.
Just as you were saying, Immortality Field comes out from the side of Waffle House Gaming. Waffle House Gaming is going to get a quick cap potentially if they win this fight. And this is not good for the sides of Hakuna Shimada. They need to win this fight now because that is an extremely fast cap. And they're going to have tons of time to attack point B. What in the world? Back capping like that with the sim strat was not working out for Hakuna Shimada because they didn't have any point pressure.
Yeah, they just weren't in position to deal with that kind of a play and didn't focus the TP quickly enough. But now already Waffle House on the objective. Toothless Assault moving to contest against an anti-healed Reinhardt, and Brigitte should mean a cleanup for the rest of this fight.
Yes, Matt.
You can't ever be sure. Never mind, Fusion goes down on the Reaper, and for now it's just breaking the sim TP and turrets that are scattered about the objective.
Massive anti-heal came out there from Stretch. And ultimately result in that save.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you don't hit that nade, then you probably don't clean that up because it just enables those kills onto the Brigitte and the Reinhardt. So much healing on the side of Waffle House as they move back in with double hit scan now to deal with this pharmacy. They are not going to take it lightly. They're going to go directly for the Pharah.
And they're going up top real quick. Quick brawl here. Pillars managed to find Carmelette. And that's not good for the side of Waffle House, but Fusion managed to find Pillows. It doesn't matter. The hit scan abilities of Fusion is showing here. And but it does look like Waffle House is going to step out as they lost a couple of key players in that first push, including, well, Carmelette and Daddy Longlegs. So
yeah, you start that push without your Baptiste. You're just asking to feed ult charge to the side of the defending team, and bringing that up, they've invested a Valkyrie, but beyond that, they've just been charging ultimates of their own. So they'll be coming up on 4 really impactful ones in this next team fight.
Well, it seems like they're gonna try this high ground approach again. 2-ton salt going in for the fire strike. Several ultimates at the ready. And let's see how this works out. Ginormous gravitational surge manages to get several with the pressure point coming in there from Waffle House Gaming, but they're not able to find anybody. Wasn't quite hard enough. Fusion coming down very low, and so does Aragon, not quite dying though. And it looks like Hakuna Shimada is just able to hold on this fiercely. Fight isn't over yet, even though Fusion went down. But they are backing out, it seems, as Pillow now has the absolute free roaming abilities of Farah because of Fusion's death.
Yeah, I mean, still a lot of hit scan presence on the side of Waffle House as they look to pressure back into here, but now we're up to 6 ults on the side of the defending team. And Barrage coming out in the choke, finds Carmelette again, easy pick off, Daddy Long like 1 HP. We'll see if the Mercy goes for the kill, but she does not. Graviton Surge.
Gravitational Surge managed to find 2, coupled with the Earth Strike, or Earth Shatter, and it looks like once again Hakuna Shimada is going to be able to hold this just fine. Fusion does manage to find Cooper though, but I don't think that's going to really matter considering his spawn point's right next to point. But Waffle House does have a tick now.
Yeah, not only that, but Waffle House has 4 ultimates, and Hakuna Shimada really seriously overinvested in that fight. They probably would have won it with just the barrage play, in all honesty, but they invest 4 more ults on top of that, and now all they've got is high noon to try and hold this off.
And, well, they're going to be in a good position to use it, but I don't know how effective it's going to be as a ginormous anti-nade comes in from the side. Cooper managed to find both Fusion and Aragon, and that is going to be another one fight, unless... Oh, what a nice sleeper coming in from Stretch, managing to find Daddy Longlegs. Gonna make that high noon absolutely useless. And once again, Hakuna Shimada is able to hold their positions because of really good play on their side with the giant anti-nade coming from the Panic Rush and all that jazz. It's beautiful.
Yeah, Stretch really showing, you know, that even if you can't play Moira right now, there's definitely a way to get a ton of value, especially if the other team isn't on that Farah, and just making sure to put in the work, get the anti-nades, get the sleeps, hitting those abilities is really important as Anna and Stretch is doing it. Looks like now Stretch might be setting up for a special play here, hiding in the corner, but perhaps not. We're going to see where Waffle House decides to attack from, going for this final tick on point B as they rush onto main.
Yeah. And Hakuna Shimada has to drop down because they cannot let another tick go, otherwise that would be a round loss. And yeah, they were just shut down. What happened there?
Well, I mean, Zarya walked into a trap and Junkrat finished that one off, while Stretch contributed to yet another kill with the frag onto the Lucio. Also hitting another really nice anti-nade, makes the tanks really too weak to fight. And,
True.
You know, you see it just kind of snowball out. These players on high ground, Pillows too, and Stretch, completely uncontested.
Yeah, fat anti-nades coming up from Stretch, it seems. And, well, now Waffle House has 1:20 left on the clock.
They're going to make this high ground approach now, realizing how important that high ground can be, but the Junkrat might be able to stop them. And just as I say that, a pickoff from Pillows too onto Fusion, shutting down that push before it even really started. We'll see if they go for the stagger kills with the Riptire here, or if they just continue to hold on to their ultimates on the side of the defense.
It looks like the Zarya is trying to get a couple charge in there. Nothing really coming up from the side of Waffle House Gaming. I mean, Shimada is showing an incredible defense so far, as Waffle House Gaming is getting ready to charge back up this high ground. Will they be able to take it?
Yeah, they move onto the high ground.
Ginormous grab manages to find at least 5 people, maybe the entire team even. Riptire comes up from the side of Pillows too, managed to find 2, and that is going to be another stop with the Grav-Tire combo.
And you know, this time they show much better restraint. They use the Graviton, they find some kills in that early, even though the beat was invested, probably cut off there by the edge of the corner. T Leafy commits the Valkyrie, but they still have Nano Boost and Earth Shatter as the attacking team looks to move on with 4 ultimates of their own. This could be that last push that actually nets them the victory here.
Absolutely, and real quick rush coming from the side of Waffle House Gaming, put on the point pressure. Leafy found alone by Daddy Longlegs. High Noon comes out, doesn't manage to find anything. Ginormous grab is capitalized on. Nano Boost comes out onto the Reinhardt on the side of Hakuna Shimada, and just tearing through the tank line of Waffle House Gaming. They're still a little bit of a hope left, but trades
There's a lot of
don't
hope
win
left.
attacks.
DPS and supports versus the tanks only. They only need one tick. Pillows too,
I don't-
not managing to touch. Cooper manages to find a flashbang, but that only gets the supports back
And
on the
it
point.
looks like what? Wow, that was incredible. I certainly thought Hakuna Shimada had it at the end there with the destruction of their tank line, but it looks like Waffle House was just able to sweep it on back.
Yeah, I mean, they had the critical players left. They made the space. They took out the major components of that hold. And one thing I think was probably a weakness is the players coming back from spawn didn't swap to heroes that either got back faster or gave you immediate value, right? They came back on Junkrat. They came back on McCree. They have a lot of work to do on those heroes, and they also have a lot of opportunity to die. They're just not good heroes for self-sustain. You see maybe a swap to a Doomfist in that recontest as just an idea. You know, you can get that one-shot potential. You can generate some shields. You're a lot harder to remove from the point. But overall, still very good defense. Still an overtime take, and that makes this map incredibly winnable. But we're going to see Fusion move back over to the Pharah in a composition that I really like because it includes my one true main, Torbjorn.
Yeah, Torbjorn coming in from the side of Daddy Longleg. Quite an interesting pick. You know, we hadn't really seen it in any form of Overwatch Esports until quite recently, and it looks like, well, it looks like these guys are going to give it a shot. Hakuna Shimada potentially coming in with another Sim teleport strat. And this should be interesting seeing how much open room Fusion has.
Yeah, interesting choice here is that they're going to put T-Leafy on the Lucio instead of going for the Brigida onto the point. Now, we'll see if they're ready for this on the side of the defense. The buy string here at the start, a little bit slow to set up the teleporter. Billow's trying to get in position now, but poked low constantly, and the defending team setting up very nicely on point. So TP heads top left instead.
Fusion's poking out through, managed to find Stretch actually, and he's already at 75% ult charge. That is not good for the size of a Hakuna Shimada, considering how much value he's been getting. Sim turrets aren't quite able to find anything, potentially placed it just for ult charge, but yeah, quick reset from Cooper, and that was the first hold from Waffle House Gaming.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Fusion's charged up a huge percentage of ult because, you know, they're running this composition full of ranged damage, and when the attacking team just stands in the choke point like that without making an aggressive play, they're going to take a lot of ranged damage. There's not anything really that they can do about that. Now they get some hit scan heroes. They look to contest the distance, and they definitely, I think, are going to benefit from adding this D.Va if she can prevent getting burned by the Zarya as they move into this first attack here.
Pillow also switch over to Ashe, and Fusion continues to poke, but it doesn't look like it's going to last too long. Immortality Field and Amplification Matrix coming up from the side of the Baptiste, coming up from the T-Leafy. Fusion managed to find one. Pillow kills him though, so it's a quick trade. It doesn't look like... Oh yes, Omni manages to res Fusion, so no losses really on the side of Waffle House Gaming. And it just looks like Hakuna Shimada cannot break through.
Luckily, the defending team goes out there to feed Lanakai a mech so that he doesn't have to swap, and 2 Tons of Salt is back already, so another push on the cards right away.
Leafy has Sound Barrier, but Waffle House Gaming's got 5 ults actually, including the Gravitational Surge just used, countered by Sound Barrier, so they're not really able to find anything. Do find the D-Mech on Lanakai, and yeah, Massive Molten Core is going to stop that attack right in its tracks as pressure is just continually put onto Hakuna Shimada by Fusion, and there's just no break for these guys.
Yeah, they're really struggling to get an angle on the Pharah with this huge gateway in their way, blocking all the sight lines. Fusion can just peek around it at will to put the damage directly into the back line. Front line not able to make much space against the heavy damage either because their supports are always so weak. But Bob's going to try and make some space, going in deep, gets slept instead.
Alright, and the next thing we see here is a quick charge. Another Amplification Matrix coming from the side of Stretch, but ginormous barrage coming from the side of Fusion. Managed to find 3 and a D-Mech on the Lanakai, and that would be the end of that push. It seemed like Hakuna had a chance with the with the pressure they actually managed to get through the gate, I should say, and
yeah, they definitely applied some good pressure. Lanikai now going to a Hammond, hoping to force the issue on the objective and give them a bit of space. We saw a lot of ults used in that last fight, so some interesting swaps coming out here for the attacking team. Really have nothing left to lose. Fusion taking an aggressive angle in the backline, betting on their accuracy to help them find the kills necessary to get out. And they do get out, but without any kills, unfortunately.
Leafy might be able to build sound barrier in this fight, but it doesn't look like it is. Stormrig just pushes on through and manages to find both Salt and Stretch. And they need to, Hakuna Shimada needs to touch now or they're going to lose this map. And it doesn't look like anyone's going to be fast enough in order to contest.
Lanikai is on the back end as Hamster, but fighting a Torbjorn here on the point. Definitely a match that favors the Torbjorn because the turret doesn't miss.
Oh, a back cap I didn't see coming. What a massive back cap. He's countered by both Molten Core and Gravitational Surge. They really do not want him on there. It does look like Hakuna Shimada is going to be able to touch just a little bit longer, but I don't really know if it's going to make a difference.
They needed the whole time. They find a kill on a Storm Gig. Now there's some actual fighting on point happening.
Charjaria, though, is going to give trouble to the 2-ton Salt. As he goes down with the anti-nade from the side of Carmelette, ball comes in for the recontest, goes spin me right around, baby, right around, and continuing overtime for Hakuna Shimada. Though the anti-nade does seem like it's going to stop Lanikai in his tracks, and that will be Hanamura.
Yeah, unfortunately, that play for the back cap comes out too late to have much of an impact. It does give them a fighting chance in that last fight, but it doesn't actually result in any cap. So, as good as their defense looked, the idea on the attack was strong, but the execution never came through, and the Pharah over the top just managed to find so much value pressuring in deep.
And yeah, just overwhelming amounts of pressure coming up from Waffle House Gaming. It's kind of crazy, you know. I just no one on Hakuna Shimada really being able to
for Fusion. Having less of an impact on the other heroes, I would say, but when able to play that Pharah Mercy combo on the side of Waffle House, they are finding so much value, so much pick potential, so much constant pressure and damage coming out into that backline of Hakuna Shimada, and just resulting in a lot of kills that happen too early. Too early for Hakuna Shimada to really be comfortable in the match.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to think about it. How exactly Hakuna Shimada, I mean, you were saying just focus on the ground battle and, you know, try to finish it before Fusion does damage, but that's the problem, is Fusion's doing so much damage. There's no real break there. So
yeah, the utilization of the speed boost from Hakuna Shimada could definitely be a lot better in these situations, as you don't see any of these quick, aggressive engages that we'd really like to see, where they just push through against all odds and take the space, regardless of whether the defending team is ready to give it or not. Because it really is their backline under the pressure from Fusion, right? The damage is coming in to the vulnerable, squishy heroes behind the Rhine Shield. And so if your Rhine Shield's not going to be used because the Fair is shooting over top of it, you might as well just use his hammer instead and push right on into the other team and try and find your value there.
And that was actually one of the 2 times they were able to get through the gate, was whenever I saw 2-ton Salt just coming in and swinging through, like you were saying. And maybe they'll take care of that here, but they're actually playing defense, so don't know how aggression's gonna work. I don't really.
Well, they're gonna come out with Diva, McCree, Soldier, Ana, and a Mercy damage boost. So let me tell you, they are taking the opposite of my advice. They are looking to go, okay, if we can kill this Pharmacy, the rest of the match is free. I'm a little worried that it might make them somewhat weak in the ground game, especially since we're not actually seeing a Pharmacy out here from Fusion.
Yeah, so they have no, yeah, exactly. Fusion's going up Genji. I thought it was a troll pick, which is why I didn't say anything, but apparently not. And, both teams coming in here, pushing through the arcway. Bubble comes out from the side of Aragon. Just get a quick ult charge. Giant anti-nade coming in from the side of Carmelette. No picks really being found yet, except for Daddy Longleg manages to find 2-ton salt, and that should be the opening gate for Waffle House Gaming to walk their way in. Pillow does manage to find Stormgig, but it's gonna be too late as Daddy Longleg gets multiple picks, does end up dying to Cooper, but it's too late at that point, and that is should be a point A cap for the side of Waffle House Gaming.
Yeah, as predicted, Hakuna Shimada too weak in the actual ground war, and they committed to this Pharmacy counterplay, but the attacking team has the benefit of being able to swap pretty much whenever they want, and it not really affecting them as the defenders have to walk so far to contest. But now we're going to see a Junkrat swap coming out on the side of the defending team and see if they can find some value with that damage. But 2-ton Assault out there by themselves goes down very early to the Zarya, and it looks like they're just going to get cleaned up after respawns.
Yeah, very out of position. Does manage to get found out by Waffle House Gaming, and that's already a team fight lost. That shouldn't even been a fight. Fusion does manage to find 2, one on Landakai and one on Stretch, but wow.
Yeah, and when we look at this, right, all the defending team has done is group up and die and group up and die. Pillows builds 13% of a Junkrat ult in that time. Their ultimate economy is looking kind of weak. They've got support ults because they've been doing some healing, but the attacking team has everything that they could ever want.
Yeah, attacking team's got 5 ults at the ready and more on the way. It does not look good for Hakuna Shimada. It seems that Fusion's sitting up at the high ground, trying to get some picks. 2-ton Salt receiving a lot of pressure on the front line. Nanoblade comes up from the side of Fusion. Isn't quite able to find anything yet. Diving the back line, managed to find Cooper. Earthshatter coming in from the side of Stormgig, but it didn't look like it was that necessary. And a wasted Earthshatter for 2-ton Salt. Very unfortunate. They also used Nano and Valkyrie in that fight.
Well, it was a fight that the defending team could not afford to lose for free. They need to get as much time, as much pressure, as many ultimates out of the attacking team as possible. So from them, even though they invested a lot, they've still got some in the bank. Overall, I think it was worthwhile as they get an early pick off here, that they lose their Diva Mech. We might see it stabilize a little bit, but there is a Graviton and a Beat Drop available for the attacking team. So if they choose to invest these aggressively, they could still end up with another snowball fight.
Yeah. 2-ton Salt was able to find Daddy on taking him out of the fight in the very beginning. Cooper managed to find 2 on both DPS. That could be disgusting for the side of Waffle House Gaming. Stormgig does manage to find 2-ton Salt though, so nope, it doesn't look like it, as Pillow is able to find Stormgig, and that should be a quick reset for Waffle House Gaming. Nice deadeye coming up from the side of Cooper.
What's important to note too is that they did all of that with a baby Diva, so now they have Diva Bomb and Junkrat Tire online to help them stabilize another fight where the other team still has an ult advantage, but it's not nearly as significant. 2-ton Salt gets in aggressive early.
Yeah, 2-ton Salt might be picked off here. Ginormous anti-nade from the side of Carmelette. Managed to find both caught in the grab. Pillow comes in with the 3 though on Stormgig, Aragon, and Omni. That is a massive ult and definitely saved that fight.
Yeah, and you may not have seen it, but Daddy Longleg was caught in a Junkrat trap on the side of that as well, and Landakai was able to just boost and micro missile onto that and collect that kill as well. So they invest 1 ultimate and recover what was seemingly a lost team fight.
Well,
huge.
It looks like Waffle House Gaming coming in. Both teams at 5 and 5, but it does look like Fusion might be able to get there first.
Yeah, for sure. Fusion is posturing with their tank ultimate ready, but Nanoblade is going to be the call.
And Nanoblade comes in once again, managed to find Leafy. Fusion managed to find 3. The bomb finding absolutely nothing from the side of Landakai. 4. Make that 5. Make that a 5k from Fusion with Stormgig taking the kill on Salt. And that, unless they're able to contest real quick, ball comes up from the side of Landakai. Deadeye
comes
in from Daddy Longlegs, keeping it part of T Leafy dies. Nano Blade coming out. They're really trying for this win. Earthshatter finds one.
It might be enough from 2-ton Salt as it also hits one on the back line. And
2-ton Salt finds 3.
Cleaning up.
Cooper finds
Reinhardt versus
Daddy Longlegs. And is Fusion gonna clear this one out though? Lanikai and T Leafy are the only 2 left with Fusion in the fight. He managed to find 4. He bought enough time for his team to get back, and that is incredible pressure coming up from the side of Fusion. Even the anti-nade wasn't enough to stop him as he gets another blade, and he managed to find 2. That is incredible. Salt's the only one on point along with Lanikai, and it's a desperate hold from the side of Hakuna Shimada, but it wasn't enough.
Oh, and they thought it was 1. They split up a little bit, but Carmelade still there, just pocketing Fusions as Fusions fought this Reinhardt charging blade so quickly against this tank and eventually ending up with the advantage just because of the better healing. Ultimately, yeah, you know, you look at Fusions and you say in that last fight, okay, you collected the kills, you stayed alive, you did the damage, but a lot of that was down to Carmelade staying safe, having good positioning, and then hitting the crucial shots onto the Genji that was still on the point, even when it looked over. Definitely got to give credit to the support player there.
Absolutely, and yeah, for sure. Fusion being kept alive by that pocket, and then was able to buy enough time for him to be kept alive by his other fellow teammates. But you gotta give credit for Fusion being able to stay alive long enough for Carmelette to even be able to heal him, right? That's incredible, and it looks like Fusion's going to be taking Soldier on the defense. Nothing really crazy coming out from either side, so I'm gonna pick for Pillow.
Yeah, another double hit scan defense, but with a less commitment to the idea. Pillows 2 goes Junkrat, so should have an advantage here in the ground war. However, if the defending team plays this high ground really nicely, the attacking team is going to struggle.
Well, it looks like the majority are taking the lower ground as we get in here. Fusion is up high, though, and here comes in the first fight. Nothing really major coming out yet. Bubbles from both Zaryas. Both finding 3. Daddy Longway managed to find Cooper. That's 1 DPS down for the side of Hakuna Shimada.
Yeah,
and is now good, but they're continuing.
Really good defensively. Hakuna Shimada still trying to poke in here, but I don't think that they're going to get anything out of this, and they just choose to back out and wait for Cooper instead.
Anti-Nate almost managed to find Pillow, but he got out alive, and they're still committing. They're still poking in on this. Now that they have their whole team back, especially. Nothing really major coming out from either side yet so far. Looks like Daddy Longleg is at 80% to his ult. Ginormous anti-nade coming from the side of 2-ton Salt. I believe it was anyways.
Yeah, they get that anti-nade. Daddy Longlegs died on the outside. They nano boost Cooper into the other team, but he's still shooting a Reinhardt shield. Unfortunately, it has to back out.
Super far up without a main tank, and this is dangerous plays, but I believe they're just trying to get ult charge. Aragon is gravitational surge. Daddy Longlegs has Deadeye, so deadly combo right there in and of itself. And ginormous anti-nade coming up from the side of Carmelette. Managed to find 4. No kills found out yet, and anti-nade comes in to counteract the damage done to that. Quick poke there, gravitational surge coming in from the side of Aragon, as well as sound barrier to counter that. Rip Tire comes in from Pillow. Managed to find 4 in that beautiful Grav Tire combo set up by Lanikai, and that should be point A taken for the side of Hakuna Shimada.
Yeah, the slow, continuous push and pressure, the pickoffs onto the DPS, they eventually gain the advantage there, using their combo to win the game. And the beat drop to survive the opposing team's combo. But now we have 5 ults on the side of Waffle House. We'll see if any picks come through on the side of Hakuna Shimada to help them with this team fight. But for now, it just looks like positioning being fought for on both sides, and possibly a nano visor from high ground. But kill is traded out already on either side.
Yep. Fusion managed to find Cooper, but Pillow managed to find Daddy Longleg. 2 giant picks. Charge coming in from the side of Stormgeek, finding 2-ton Salt, and that desperate lack of a tank of tank lines means that Waffle House Gaming is going to be able to take this fight with Pillows getting the Fusion trade, but that's all that came out of that.
Yeah, Stormgig just peeks around the corner, hammers down 4 people, and pins the Reinhardt into the back line, trusting his team to clean that one up, and they did. And look, he's already 44% to another ultimate.
Yeah, speaking of ultimates, Waffle House Gaming's got 4 on their side compared to Hakuna Shimada's 3. Both of their DPS and support ults, mind you, so that's a lot of pressure coming up from the side of Waffle House. But it looks like they are backing up and giving Hakuna Shimada just a little bit of room here to move up the cart.
Yeah, Fusion having to duel a Junkrat on the side. Doesn't care how good you are. Junkrat's always a scary character. Daddy Longleg going behind her in the background.
Shield barrier broke. Finds 2-ton salt. That's a massive loss for the side of Hakuna Shimada. Cooper does manage to find Sumgrig though, and Pillows cancels out the freaking the Autobot coming in from the side of Fusion. So Pillows putting on the damage and the pressure, just like you were saying. They have the advantage in this ground fight, and they are showing it. They don't always manage to find Lankai. Are they able to turn this around? Gravitational Surge coming in to try to finish up this last fight. Pillow's the only one left on point. Daddy Longleg's trying to come in for the support, but it's going to be too late. And what should have seemed like Hakuna Shimada's fight is held back by Waffle House.
Well, they thought it was won, but now they're here with 6 ults, and they don't have the fight win, and they probably should have invested something in the middle there. But, you know, we're going to have another fight with Hakuna Shimada in advantage. 6v4 up here on the objective. As 2-ton assault positioning for the Earth Shatter going very low, though.
Alright, and it looks like tons of pressure, just like you were saying, coming in from the Junkrat. Not really giving Waffle House too much time to breathe. Fusion trying to find some pick. Ginormous shatter! That is a 6-man shatter coming from the side of 2-Salt. But it gets countered by another shatter, and then it always fights Leafy with the... What in the world just happened? That fight would have been it?
It should have been, but the Earth Shatter hits everybody but Omni, who hits a really nice beat drop, and then Leafy invested their beat drop to get aggressive, which meant that when Stormgig went to answer the Shatter with one of his own, there was no beat drop to keep the side of Hakuna Shimada alive. And now both teams have their ult economy almost completely wiped out with 2 on either side. Fusion coming up on this Reaper ult soon, both nano boosts, and then Cooper with the Deadeye.
Absolutely, and that's got to be crushing for Hakuna Shimada, who had the fight in the bag. However, Jedi comes out from the side of Cooper, doesn't quite find anything though due to pulling back from the side of Waffle House Gaming. And pressure once again being applied. Nano boost comes out from both sides. Fusion gets a giant Q, manages to find Pillow and Stretch, and that should be a 1 fight. Fusion manages to find 4 kills in that fight.
Yeah, Nano Boost and Death Blossom happens to be a pretty good combo, especially when the stun is out of position for Hakuna Shimada. You know, you don't hit that sleep, and it's such a split-second high-skill reaction play you got to make. Fusion may have even had the bubble on that aggression, so at that point, you just you take that L and you move back for the next fight. However, no ults available except for the Earth Shatter from Stormgrig. Let's see if he hits this one right here. He's going to go for the play. It looks like, yes, he hits 2-ton assault.
Ginormous Earth Shatter managed to find several. Fusion is the cleanup crew, and this is one of the last fights. The back kept coming in from the side of Leafy. Is going to try and get as far as physically possible.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like Waffle House Gaming has noticed. They're continuing the pressure on the spawn room, and
well, unfortunately for T Leafy, Fusion will notice if nobody else does, but never mind. Omni and Stormgig make it back to the card, pushing T Leafy off of it, desperately to survive here. 2-ton assault, pinning in, finds a pick, but then gets
Riptire comes in. I don't think it's going to be enough. There's nobody's able to touch, and
that is unfortunate. Waffle House claiming the victory here at the end, claiming the 3-0 victory over Hakuna Shimada, and ultimately adding another win to their standings.
Absolutely, Riptire was going to come out from the side of Pillows, but it was just a little too late. Only a couple feet behind. Fusion, that glorious 5K we saw earlier.
Yes, that is the power of Nano Blade into a team that is not ready with a defensive ult. So, unfortunately, they all just die in that situation.
Am I crazy? Was that 3 maps?
That was, in fact, 3 maps, Merp. We have already moved through the 3 maps in what feels almost like record time.
That, So that is wow. Okay, I've just been told. I don't know if you get picked up by the recording, but I've just been told that that whole recording was 50 minutes long, and that will be Waffle House taking the match 3-0.
Yeah, in terms of the actual time that we spent in the game, it was next to nothing as the side of Waffle House pretty much just pushed nonstop, and Hakuna Shimada had a couple of bright moments, a couple of good spots, but ultimately weren't able to make the attacks happen, and because of that, they end up getting knocked out 3-0.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, we're supposed to be choosing match MVPs, and for me, even though he's a sub in, I can you argue against Fusion?
You know, I'd like to argue against Fusion. I'd like to say that the support stepped up and really did a great job, or that the tanks made huge plays. But when you see a player get a 3 to 4K every single team fight, whether they have ultimate or not, you can't really say that they're not the MVP now, can you, Merp?
Absolutely not. Fusion coming in and crushing the competition. I'm not really surprised though, considering last week's game against the Paladins where he was also popping off. So I'm excited to see where Fusion goes. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
possibly to a higher elo, given his level of play, might be looking for more of a challenge. Um, However, we'll have to see moving on later in this tournament. And you know what? I think it's safe to say that I'm excited for Waffle House as a whole. I want to see how they perform overall in the tournament. I know that right now they were at the bottom of the standings, 1-1, in the seventh place. But after today, they're going to be moving up. And I think that they have a real shot at being one of the top teams in contention for this particular division.
Well, the one to watch will be how Exiles does because that's the team Waffle House Gaming lost to. So I'll be watching out for that match, and we'll see how they do. If Waffle House is this good, I can't even wait for the other matches that are gonna come. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everybody, for watching along with us. Hope you enjoyed the games, and we'll see you next time.